Today. And we've got Lauren Green joining us on set. Lauren, it's such a pleasure. I told all our viewers that you were going to be coming here to talk to us about a very interesting story, churches loaning to Muslims. Tell us about it.
Well, a lot of churches just see it as their Christian duty to help out, a neighboring congregation, but critics are saying, this just goes a little too far. They've got two Protestant churches, one in Cordova, Tennessee, and the other in Aldersgate, Alexandria, Virginia. It's called Aldersgate United Methodist. They have basically let neighboring congregations, Muslim congregations, use their facilities for like Friday prayers, and the church down in Tennessee did that for Ramadan. And they basically see it as part of what their faith mandates, which is to be in a relationship with people who really don't even share your same faith views. Take a listen to Aldersgate United Methodist Church spokesperson.
We're not facilitating their practice of religion in the sense of proselytizing or accepting the religious beliefs. We're offering people a space. And we believe that people should have the free exercise of religion, and this is part of that opportunity.
Now, critics are saying that basically you're kind of going, you're crossing the line. You're going from tolerance and respect to affirmation and endorsement, and it's a very fine point. And let's listen to the sound bite first before I explain a little bit more.
Sure.
I think we do a disservice to Scripture, we do a disservice to church history, we do a disservice to our predecessors, we do a disservice to people around us that really need the truth. But more than anything, Christians that compromise do a disservice to the Lord who gave His life for us and the one who has called and commissioned us to proclaim truth.
Now, for a lot of people, it does sound like that's, really extreme. One of the things that's happening, though, in America is that we've had this dramatic rise in the number of mosques that are being built. And there's been a 57% increase in the number of mosques since the year 2000. About 35 communities have really objected to these mosques being built for various reasons. Maybe some it's like parking issues and just the normal kinds of things. But others have met real resistance, just didn't want the congregation to expand in their neighborhood. Most notable, of course, is Ground Zero. One of the things that happens that I've been hearing rumblings about among theologians is that there's something called Chrislam that people are starting to kind of create. You kind of take a little bit of Christianity, you take a little bit of Islam, you kind of combine the two. And the problem is that these are foundationally very separate faiths. And so what they're doing is they're sort of ignoring the big white elephant in the room. And they're ignoring the exclusive claims of both of these religions. Basically saying, be aware of this. But this is not your obligation. Your obligation is, to spread the gospel. And Muslims are saying, but you know what? We really appreciate our Christian brothers, allowing us to be a part of their congregations, and they're really creating a community. Like one church down in Tennessee, they've actually created a 15-acre community park with their Muslim congregation that's really next to them. So I don't think we've heard the real last of this, because as this becomes apparent that more churches, and even a couple of synagogues, have opened their churches, their buildings, to Muslims as they're expanding, we might hear a little bit more about this. One of the things you have to remember about Muslims is that they don't the Sharia law does not allow them to pay interest. So they don't get mortgage. They don't have mortgages.
Well, they have a fake mortgage. It's sort of, there's a way around that one.
But generally speaking, it takes them a little longer to amass the money to build or to buy. So what they have to do, then they have to rent space in other churches and other buildings, and that's what's really kind of happening.
All right, Ellen, you've been making some comments and facial...
Yes, well, first of all, as you travel around the world and you talk to Muslims, they'll say Jews, Muslims, Christians are from the Abrahamic religions.
Sure, absolutely.
And they see it as sort of one coming out of it. It is true that that Muhammad said he was the last prophet, but of course they also incorporate Christianity and Judaism.
They don't understand but they don't incorporate Christianity. There's a fundamental difference between Christianity and Islam.
But the other thing is that the kind of words that I often hear against Muslims, if you go back to the actual original things that happened during the Inquisition in 1492 and that period of time, both in Spain and in Mexico, it's exactly the same kind of words you hear today.
No, we're not talking about the kind of incendiary remarks that people make against each other. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the fundamental tenets of the core faith. That's what we're talking
A building
about.
is a building, and to my understanding of the New Testament,
right,
Jesus preached outside. He didn't preach in a
exactly.
church.
I mean, that's certainly one of the claims. Is that many Christians don't see anything wrong because the church is not a building. The church is the people of Christ. So there's a very big difference between letting Muslims use your facility for their Friday prayers and then proselytizing to saying, Jesus is the way, the truth, and the light.
Sure.
That's a big difference.
I mean,
and
would
so
there
that's
be a
why the
problem if
controversy is.
Buddhists were using Christian churches?
I don't think there. I mean, understand, this is inside baseball. This is inside Christianity. This is not Christianity against Islam. It's basically inside Christianity. There is no fight from the Muslims. This is really kind of a Christian against Christian. Like I did that. Maybe that's not a good idea. This is not your faith.
Different factions within a Christianity.
Right. I mean, it's saying Christians are saying
faith.
this is what we're called
Right.
to do, and the other Christians say, well, you know what, you don't have to do that. That's not part of your Christian duty to do that. To saying, so we're going to be on record by saying, this is not something you have to do as part of your Christian duty. Certainly, it's something that people do, but it's a question whether or not they're saying you have to do this. And really, I mean, a lot of people, you hear arguments on both sides.
Okay, well, I mean, I understand what you're saying, and Ellen, I understand what you're saying, but I mean, how do you see this being resolved?
I don't think it's a matter of it being resolved at all. I think it's just going to be a conflict out there because there's no, adjudicating body to say you can't do this. It's really up to the churches
that will
themselves.
decide.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
it's an individual case by case basis. I do want to let the viewers know that you have a piece on foxnews.com.
Sure.
Tell them about it.
Yes, it's foxnews.com, and it expands a little bit more about these ideas of should they be doing this or should they not be doing this, and like giving people a voice. And then another theologian said, there are other ways to extend the hands of fellowship from a Christian to a Muslim that doesn't involve actually opening up your church building and saying, here, worship. They're saying the criticism has been you're opening your church to someone who has exclusively said that your faith is false. Okay. And that's the difference.
Now, if people want to weigh in and make comments or anything like that on your article, they can post on there,
absolutely.
right? And then any other way to follow you on Facebook or Twitter, anything like that?
You know what, I wish. I need to do that, don't I?
You need to do that immediately.
I
It would be so nice.
I
Just go sign up.
You know what
after
the great
you
thing
leave
about
the
it
set
is
at
that
Lauren
you
Green.
hear from people you haven't seen in 20 or 30 years,
Really?
and it's the most amazing
I've been trying to
experience.
run away from those people, so
No.
No,
Some
but it's
of
a
them
great
you wanna
way to
hear from.
interact with the viewers.
Really?
I'm on Twitter at Kim Guilfoyle. Yeah, you're on.
Ellen
as well.
Ratner. Yeah.
Doesn't it
at
take a
Ellen
lot of your
Ratner.
time? though?
Facebook is better.
No,
I
it's
spend more
great. You can
time
do
with
both.
that.
Okay,
You can
all
do it
right.
immediately. I'm going to check back with you.
Okay.
Lauren Green, she's always fantastic to have on the program. Such a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
And yes, we already said that we have the story up on the website. I encourage you to go onto the website and read her fine piece, and also to write a comment back. And then she's made a promise to us that she's going to get all the social media so she can hear from you as well, because you guys can also give her some story ideas and different things to do. She is our chief here at Fox News Channel religion correspondent. All right, Lauren, thank you so much.